Hello, church, and happy Wednesday. We find ourselves, as from a church perspective, once again doing church from home, doing ministry more one-on-one as opposed to what we normally do, which is based in groups and larger groups. And we hope that you are tolerating this well. We are doing our best. I always look forward to having the individual conversations on the phone with some of you, and as we work through that. But I know it's just different. And along with church distancing, the general social distancing is beginning to weigh on all of us. I've had multiple conversations with people this past week. One said it just feels like darkness is creeping in. Said it's oppressive. Had another conversation with a family, and they just said we are finding ourselves just more snippy than normal. With dad, mom, and everybody at home, sometimes it's a little more frustrating. And I have to say, from a ministry perspective, we're trying to do more with less in some ways. We're having to add to our plate some different unique things that we're not really used to, and things are not the way that they were, and so we're trying to figure that out. I was talking with a ministry friend, and he said, yeah, it's just not the way it was. And in his words, will it ever be that way again? And there was some lamenting that was happening there. So this Wednesday, I want to offer a little bit of encouragement. And it seems like every Wednesday I'm saying in some ways the same thing. And maybe it's because I need to hear the same thing over and over, and maybe it's because we all do. In Psalm 46, it's one of our favorites. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. The nations rage, the kingdoms totter. He utters his voice, the earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come, behold the works of the Lord, how he has brought desolations on the earth. He makes war cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the chariots with fire. Verse 10, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Jonathan Edwards, one of the famous preachers of America and famous philosopher and theologian, when he was 18 years old, preached a sermon entitled Christian Happiness. And he had 3 points to this sermon. His first point was this: if you are a Christian, be happy. Because number one, your bad things turn out for good. Number two, Your good things will never be taken away. And number 3, the best things are yet to come. You go back over those. If you are a Christian, you can be happy because your bad things turn out for good. We're reminded of Romans 8:28, where this idea of God being for us, if God is for us, nothing can be against us. And that He can take what is bad, that God can take what is bad and turn it into good for those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. Even bad things, from the ultimate sense, when we look on the other side, God can turn those and use for good. A great example of this is Joseph in the Old Testament. At the end, when he reveals himself to his brothers, after all that they had done, Joseph says, what you intended for good, for evil, God intended for good. Secondly, our good things cannot be taken away. If you are saved through Jesus Christ, nothing can snatch you from His hands. If you are in Christ, you are justified. You know, Paul goes on in that passage and he lists all of those things that death or famine or sword or anything else, even angels, nothing can snatch us from the love of God. Our good cannot be taken away. You know, that reminds us to think about what things do we really treasure. What are those best things? Those ultimate things. And then finally, we are in Christ. The best things are yet to come. The best things are yet to come. You know, this is a reminder that this world is not as good as it gets. You know, our citizenship, our hope, our dreams are not simply based on here and now. There's something better coming. So on this Wednesday, if you know these things, then fear not. And then walk in a way that exhibits that you know these things. I love you. See you. Keep the faith. God bless you. See you soon.